can't believe we have to make this commercial.
It's ridiculous.
You'll think it's ridiculous too. Listen to this.
This commercial is about, well, it's about parents being rude at high school athletic events.
Ridiculous, right?
It gets worse. Studies show more than 75% of new high school officials are quitting because of bad adult behavior.
So now there's a shortage of refs here in Idaho, in almost all sports.
No officials means no more games.
Is that what you want for us?
Come on, parents.
It's time to grow up.
Cheer for your team.
Be proud of your children.
But stop being so ridiculous.
And don't make us run another commercial.
Because we will.
This message presented by the Idaho High School Activities Association and the Idaho Athletic Administrators Association, reminding you to always practice good sportsmanship.
Welcome to the Ryerson Family Backyard Games. There will be obstacles to face and challenges to overcome. Are you ready?
Taking the hard path isn't always easy. It takes courage and determination to do hard things. Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
We're Valley-wide cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Former regional champ and back-end training.
That's commitment.
Ow.
Oh, tough start. This is not as easy as it used to be, folks.
And she's off. Obviously pushing through some pain.
Every muscle is begging her to stop. How's she doing this?
I'm not even sure she knows.
Look at her go. And stop.
Come on.
And go again.
It's literally the home stretch. Whoa.
She made it. Feel the elation.
Disabled to be vaccinated because of COVID. I chose to be vaccinated because I didn't want to. And worth it. It was a very wise choice.
Look at that.
So Kuna beginning things at their own 29. So Kuna to start things today in their visiting white uniforms, black pants, and gold numbers. Rocky today, all black uniforms with white numbers. Black helmet, black jerseys, black pants all the way around.
Yeah, Rocky coming off what they would consider somewhat of a disappointing season, being ranked for a long time during the season and then having that quick loss to Meridian just by a hair at the end of the game, and subsequently coming in as number 3 seed to the tournament tonight. But every bit one of the top 3 teams in the state tonight, playing a team in Kuna that's coming in kind of riding a wave a little bit. Snuck in, took an at-large bid, and now is looking to make some noise in the state tournament.
First play from scrimmage. Kuna going to try this one up the middle. They gain about 3 yards there on the ground. So that's how we start things here at Rocky. And yeah, you talk about Kuna, a team that they literally stole a bid to get into the state playoffs here.
Yeah, stole a bid. And you and I talking to the coaches before, they were just excited to be here with where the program has been to where it's heading. It looks like there was a penalty on that. So Kuna moving the ball in orthodox, but they'll take what they can get at this point.
So 1st and 10 after the penalty here for Kuna. They move the ball up to the 41, their own 41. Lukengay, the quarterback, in a shotgun set. Kelly, the man in motion. They're going to do a double reverse pass and coming down the near side. This is Luke Celto. Ball popped out at the 30. Rocky picks it up. This is going to be a Grizzly touchdown.
And oh, they had it. They tried it. They knew that they had to do something. And Rocky, opportunistic, popped the ball loose as he was trying to create some space to get around the outside from the tackler. Scoop 6 to lead things off for Rocky, and that is where you do not want to start if you're Kuna, if you want to stay anywhere close in this game.
Parker Weatherly picking up The fumble taking it back the distance, 6-0 Grizz, just like that.
Kuna doing what they can. Know they have to be a little creative and smart with play calling. Tried to call a trick play in the first couple of downs, trying to get something big, a quick hitter, and it was well covered downfield. They just ran a man with the only receiver in play in the route. Subsequently, oh, it was a fake.
Rocky runs a fake. It works to perfection. Caleb Staub is in the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
Well, that's a tough one, too, because rules say you cannot cover the long snapper, and he snaps the ball, hikes it to the up man, just releases right up there and able to blow people off the ball. Generally speaking, the rush comes in from the outside, so you don't have a lot of people paying attention up the middle, and Rocky saw something they liked and took advantage of it.
Yeah, so just like that, Grizz up 8-0 here early on Treasure Valley Game Night, presented by Mountain West Bank, our major advertising partners coming into the broadcast tonight. They're Project Filter.
Saw the opening, settled and came back to the far side, and it was a design throw to his far shoulder on the far side of the field for the reception, and brings up 2nd and short, 2nd and 1. Pistol formation. 2 receivers, Jacobson near side, Lucchini far side. Fake handoff. Again, Lucchini over the middle. Same play, but on the opposite side, faked it to the inside. Lucchini just ran kind of a deep post, cut in front of his receiver, and Sweeney threw it. There is a flag in the backfield. Looks like we're going to come up with a holding call. Yeah, holding on Rocky. So that's going to bring up 2nd and, what is it, 2nd and 15 at this point, looks like. So Rocky getting the play from the sidelines. Sweeney lining his men up. No deep safeties for the Kuna Cavemen. Now they're dropping one. Four down linemen. Man, that's Lucchini coming across in motion. He runs a flat route, but he's looking deep. That's Jacobson on the far side. Pass interference. It was a deep ball, and was looking at him all the way. It was C.J. Jacobson, big 6'5", 230-pound tight end / wide receiver, because he never lines up at tight end. Threw in the deep ball, and Sweeney threw it underneath, and Jacobson threw it over the top, and Jacobson was running underneath it, but the Caveman defender got tangled up with him for the pass interference call. So that'll bring up 1st down, and they'll get back to right about where they had the penalty, the holding call. But at this point, it'll be 1st down again for Rocky football, Rocky Mountain Grizzlies. So it brings up 1st and 10. Kuna getting their defense set with 2 backs, kind of an up back, and then Art Williams motions to stand beside. So it's 2 backs on the same side of Sweeney. Hand off to Williams up the middle. He sees a big hole. He makes one cut, bursts up the middle. Gain of about 11 yards on that play. Art Williams behind that big offensive line, and they just blew him off the blocks, and he just danced in there. Nobody touched him until he's at least 6 yards down the field. So Kuna looking to hold tight at this point. It's a 1st down. And they're taking their defensive call in from the sideline, trying to dig in here and see if they can make a stop or at least hold them to a field goal attempt.
Well, I'll hang up and shoot me a text if you can hear us now. Okay, that's weird that it doesn't show up here though.
All right, so 1st down for Rocky. Rocky handoff to Williams up the middle. He takes 1 step. He's wrapped up. Tough to bring down after 2 yards. That's some of the toughest 2-yard running you'll ever see. He was dragged down by the Kuna defender. It's going to bring up 2nd and about 8. Rocky looking to get the call from the sidelines. Kuna digging in here. Looking for a big stop at this point. Already down 8-0 with 6:45 left in the 1st quarter here at Rocky Mountain High School in Meridian, Idaho. Motion out to the left, and then shotgun formation, and Sweeney takes a hit, and that's a fumble. Nope, they're calling an incomplete pass. took a huge hit as he was looking out to the far sideline. His arm was in motion. So that brings up 3rd down. That's a big stop at this point for the Kuna Cavemen.
Yeah, 3rd down and 8 coming up here for Rocky as they are knocking on the door here once again. And to get you up, the lone touchdown here for Rocky, a fumble 6 picked up on the defensive side of the ball for Rocky. Parker Weatherly, the lone touchdown. But the offense now faced with a 3rd and 8, ball sitting on the 14-yard line. Rocky in the shotgun set on this 3rd down. They need 8. Here they go. Back to pass, over the middle, pass incomplete. They were looking towards the near side, and it falls to the turf. 4th down coming up. That's a big stop for Kuna.
That's a huge stop. You hold them to a field goal opportunity here, and you can call that a win, after a couple of penalties and a decent punt return. On that play, it was an option route. He optioned to the wrong side, and Tegan Sweeney just threw it just a bit outside.
So let's see what Rocky decides to do here on 4th down. We have 6:28 to go in the opening quarter, and the field goal units coming on the field here for the Grizz.
Tempting to come here on the field.
Yeah.
missing a player.
It's slowly getting out there, but now they're ready to go. So this will be about a 30-yard field goal from the right hash. Field goal is up, and it is no good. They pushed it wide. It had plenty of distance, but it was pushed wide to the right. The kicker, Dawson Anderson, the senior, missing the short field goal, and now Kuna will take over, trailing by a touchdown.
Yeah, Dawson Anderson, big leg, and he just pushed it on that one. But if you're Kuna, you got to look at this and say, that's a huge stop. We got to do something with this. They have the ball at the 20-yard line, turning the other direction, and offensively they haven't been able to move the ball at this point. And so now, they tried to do it in the first set of downs, which led to the fumble, the scoop 6, but be a little creative. Because I don't think typical lining up man-to-man versus this defense, you're going to get too far. So you have to be creative with the play calling.
So whistles before Kuna gets going here. They're going to start this next drive from the 21. As Lukengay, the quarterback here for Kuna, lines up with trips to the left. Screen pass complete, caught by the receiver Keyshawn Kelly as he goes down the far sideline. Picks up about 4 or 5 there on 1st down.
Yeah, and you can see the cavemen. The Kuna's a little leery of pushing the ball downfield, knowing the speed they have in the defensive backfield for Rocky, and so everything's going laterally and wide, trying to complete easy open passes and trying to let their playmakers make some plays, moving the ball forward north-south after they receive the ball, heading east-west.
2nd and 6 from the 24. Lukengay again, short pass complete to the far side. Immediately dropped is the receiver there for Kuna. I believe that was Luke Celto.
And you can see Lukanga, he's got a lively arm. He gets the ball out there quickly, but that pass, lost maybe an inch on that play. But they're very conservative in their end of the end zone. It feels like they're almost content to say maybe play some field position at this point, but you got to dig yourself out and you got to just attack, especially in the state playoffs.
3rd and 7 coming up. Lukengay to throw. Here comes the pressure. Can't get rid of the ball, and he's dropped at the 10. A herd of Grizz there to make the sack, the first one out of the pile for Rocky. Patrick Weatherly, he also has the defensive touchdown tonight.
Yeah, big sack on that one. Lukanga, when he dropped back, he was looking over to his left the whole time. There were 2 receivers on that side. One, the inside receiver ran kind of a post flag route, and the far receivers running a deep route, and the safeties both rolled over to there and had over-the-top coverage. Nobody was open.
2 receivers back deep to receive the second Kuna punt of the night. Here comes the pressure. Rocky almost got it, but Kuna gets it off. Punt is caught at the 45, and now coming down the near side is Art Williams. The Idaho commit takes this one all the way back to the Kuna 35, and so a short field coming up here for Rocky.
Yeah, short field, and the net on that was what, 15 yards on that.
If that.
If that. You got to try to attempt to push the ball down the field, and I know Kuna's just trying to say maybe stop the adrenaline rush at this point of playing, it's the opening round of the high school playoffs, but being maybe a little aggressive. I see that they were trying to go aggressive, but you got to get the ball out on that one for a net of 15 yards, and you leave them in good field position. I think I'd die by the sword at this point.
Deegan Sweeney, the quarterback for Rocky, bringing the troops out for the next drive. They're going to start this one at the 35. Pistol set on 1st and 10. They go to the ground on 1st down. They give to Art Williams, and Williams up the middle down the near hash, picking up about 2 yards before he's dropped.
Yeah, Williams, quick feet, and you saw him there. He just kind of danced around. He was able to dance out of an arm tackle down around his feet, but he has quick feet. He's 6 foot, and he's a thick kid. I don't know if he has rib guards on at this point. It kind of looks like it.
Right.
Makes a kid look thicker.
6 foot 205 on the roster is Williams. So 2nd down and 8 now at the 33. Ball sitting on the near hash, shotgun here for Sweeney. Back to Williams on the ground, cutting back towards the near side, has a 1st down and out of bounds at the 20. No, at the 15 now. They move the sticks there on that 2nd down run.
Yeah, that's kind of a decoy counter. What you do is you hand it off to the running back coming across the front, and he fakes one direction, he takes one step, and he jabs, and he comes back. But in the meantime, you have a far guard, a far tackle pulling, leading up and sealing off that left side. That way, he took that play, took it off on the left side, ran to the right, took one step, and came back to his left for a big gain.
1st and 10 now from the 21. Rocky knocking on the door of the red zone. Slant pass off the play action. It's incomplete. As Rocky was trying to get it to C.J. Jacobson. He's a Utah commit. A lot of commits on this Rocky roster. You look up and down, 4 have already committed. And
I think they have 3 more that are probably going to play. And maybe even more than that if you're looking at some walk-ons. So, we were talking to the coaching staff from Kuna, and they said, where's the hole?
Right.
Where's the hole? And they said, there is no hole. I mean, what do you exploit?
2nd and 10 off the incompletion. Sweeney in the shotgun, Williams to his right. As Rocky will throw, plenty of time for Sweeney. He's going to lob this one to the end zone, wide open, touchdown. That one was a little too easy. Serva Murinov coming up with the touchdown.
Sevamirinov. The play on that one, it was a delayed route. He just kind of was a decoy for a little bit. Then when all the defenders bailed and went into coverage on the rest of the receivers, he just kind of slipped out on that far underneath everybody deep. Nice and easy. Sweeney didn't even have to put any touch on it. He just kind of lobbed in there and said, go for it, big man.
Yeah, no one within the same zip code of Marinoff there on that touchdown, and it's 14-0 Rocky.
Yeah, and you start seeing some of the dynamic extra point's good. You start seeing some of the dynamic offense that they have and some of the things that they can do to you. This is a legitimate high college offense. I mean, they run so many looks, so many plays out of different looks, same play out of different looks, and they'll get you. It's a lot to prepare for a high school football team.
Yeah, if we want to bring in our local advertising partners down on the broadcast, we want to thank Bob's Bicycles on Fairview and Boise. They're family-owned since 1979, and their selection of mountain bikes, road bikes, BMX cruisers, comfort bikes is second to none. Well, they're online at Bob'sBicycles.com or on their showroom floor. Bob's Bicycles will have every bike, accessory, and fitting that you need. And they even have in-store financing, 6 months, no interest. Stop by and say hi to Vern at Bob's Bikes. Been serving Idaho for 40 years and proud supporters of high school athletics.
So we bought 2 bikes from Bob this summer.
Did you really?
We certainly did.
Are they fitting up for you?
They're
Good?
fantastic.
Yeah.
Bought them for my sons. They love them. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, the customer service has been fantastic. So we really enjoyed our experience there. And that is no lie. I'm not just making a
not giving a plug because they're a sponsor.
No. I'm being completely honest. Bob's was fantastic for us. We will certainly shop there again.
Again, down on Fairview there. I want to thank Bob's Bicycles for being on board with us tonight. Rocky kicking this one away now. End over end kick. It'll be returnable for Kuna as they bring this one down the near sideline. Now Celto cutting back and dashing up the hash marks to about the 28. And this Kuna offense now down 2 scores with 4:06 to go in the first quarter. May need to find a little bit of a groove here.
Yeah, I got to find a groove. And, if I'm looking out across the field and they have, quite a bunch of kids coming out, they have a full sideline. And physically, they kind of look the part. You and I were walking the sidelines, and they're big kids. And I'm just shocked at the size of high school kids these days.
No
it's
kidding.
Absolutely amazing. And Cuna's not here by accident. They stole a spot, but they have been working to revive this program. They had the year at 4A where they were fantastic. They were absolutely phenomenal. But the jump to 5A has been a little difficult, and there were some growing pains. It was a senior-heavy team when they had that great 4A run.
Lukinga 1st and 10. This drive will start the 28. Screen passes, set it up near side. It's caught by Deathridge. and he's dropped right at the 30, so a short 2-yard pickup. And you talk about how Kuna got to this point. They had to win a game last week at Middleton. They trailed by 14 at halftime. Kuna ends up coming back, and not only a chance to tie the game by kicking an extra point, they decided to go win it right now, and they ran a trick play. Snap goes under the quarterback's legs all the way back to the running back. Tim Tebow pop over the top. 2-point conversion's good. They're going dancing in the playoffs.
Yeah, boy, that's how you want to do it too, isn't it?
Lukinga to throw on second down. Pass over the middle is going to be caught at the 45. That's Keyshawn Kelly. First down, Kuna.
Yeah, and watch a little film on Lukenga. He has a lively arm. He's a big, strong kid, and you can see it. And he has a really quick release, and so he just kind of flipped that. He threw a lone outside where only his receiver could get it on that. And you saw the receiver come across the middle, and he went to the ground. Keyshawn Kelly did, because this defense is so quick. Yep. They're right there, and you have to throw pinpoint accuracy against them.
Lukinga to throw again on first down. This one was going to go out a running back screen. They set the running back in motion to start things. Gus Austin, the running back, but that was incomplete.
So a couple plays ago, I was watching the defensive lineman, and it was Cade Stedman, the big defensive end, who tracked. So he had pressure on the quarterback. They dumped it over his head. He ran the man down from behind. When you have that kind of athleticism coming from your defensive line, or catching screen passes, catching the receivers from behind, makes it really tough to play call against this team.
2nd and 10 now for Kuna as they break huddle, sitting at their own 45 between the hash marks. All sitting just on the bottom of the R and the M at midfield, and Rocky may have jumped. Here come the flags.
And good on him. Good on Kuna for using that cadence, kind of varying it up a little bit. Take some free yards when you can get it.
It will be an offsides here on the Grizz, so move it forward 5 yards up to the 50 now. Ball now sitting between the R and the M on midfield.
And don't look now, but Kuna's putting a little bit of a drive together.
Yeah, we said at the start of this drive, this was an important one for him.
You and I did a game, Highland and Meridian, and Highland took yards however they get, and they hung in there by doing the exact same thing.
I feel like that's kind of what Kuna's going to have to do tonight. As they go back to the ground here on first down, they go down the near hash mark on this first down run, pick up about 2. And Latimer, the ball carrier there for Kuna. You know, Kuna's got I've done a couple Kuna games throughout this year. I know their team pretty well, but white numbers or white uniforms and yellow numbers. So give us a second or two of those.
Be patient with us. We've had a couple of those, you know. We did a couple. Was it you that I did a Mountain View game with? Yeah, you and I did the Mountain View game, and sometimes they'll wear those gray jerseys with like a green on it. And
they're impossible.
It's impossible. And then we go to the Meridian games, and we have 3 or 4 running backs. They all look the exact same.
Right.
So
a timeout taken here by Kuna. We'll take this chance to welcome in Steve's Hometown. So the Steve's Hometown dealerships, they're proud to be supporters of Idaho high school football and the state playoffs. Steve's Hometown Toyota in Ontario over there in Oregon. Hometown Motors back here in Idaho in Weiser, as well as another one over there in Fruitland. They're just a short drive to savings from anywhere in the Treasure Valley. The Steve's Hometown dealership, where customer satisfaction is their #1 goal. Steve is wishing all of the athletes good luck across the state this weekend.
yeah, what a great time of year. We enjoyed a heck of an October in terms of weather, but it's still not bad. Just a little Christmas in the air. And if you're a football player, you played football, I played football.
This is football weather.
This feels good.
This is it right here.
You know, we'll do games at the beginning of the season, and in that late August, it's 100 degrees. It's 100 degrees rolling in with the sun going down, and the sun doesn't go down until 10:30 at night. And so this is good football weather, and it just feels right in the middle of it.
Currently 47 degrees.
Oof, perfect weather.
Here in Meridian. So out of the timeout, it's a 3rd and 3. 2:15 to go. I formation now for the Cavemen, just over midfield. And they will toss this one out to the far side. It's not going anywhere. It's going to lose a couple yards. Guess who's there once again for Rocky is Weatherly. The touchdown, the sack, now a tackle for loss.
And the best way to stop any kind of lateral run, any lateral movement, is to get penetration, because it forces a runner to go back inside, and the pursuit is going to get you every single time. It's very rare that you see a guy that can cut dance between 83,000 players coming across the field and burst upfield, and they did that absolutely. They got upfield, forced them back inside for a big stop. But I like it. Go for it on 4th down. You're at midfield. Good for you, Kuna.
Yeah, Kuna going for it. They need 5 yards at midfield. Lucan getting a throw over the middle. It's caught. First down, Kuna. That one, Deathridge, the tight end. They needed 5. They got 7. The Cavemen moved the chains.
Ooh, great call. They saw man coverage, and Rocky's been showing man coverage all night. Put him one man on and saying, our man's better than you. And they hit the tight end right over the top, knowing they only needed a little bit more than 5 yards. Put it on the inside. And like I said, Lukanga has a lively arm. That's a design play where the tight end releases, turns and looks immediately. It gets far enough for the first down, past the sticks.
Yeah, just a little stop and pop there, just enough for the first down for the Cavemen. So 1st and 10 now. Ball sitting at the Rocky 40. A pistol set for the Cavemen on first down. Luke can get a throw. Plenty of time. Here comes the pressure. Late, it's going to be a sack, a loss of 10. Weatherly again, he has been all over the place.
Wow, and that's a huge sack. That's almost a 10-yard sack. And that kills, that's a drive killer. I know it was only first down, but you as Kuna not being able to pick up the yards like you'd like, that's tough. He almost felt like he came untouched off the edge, but I think he just beat his man. I was looking at the coverage downfield, and
he sort of came out of nowhere. It looked like Lucan had plenty of time to throw the ball. All of a sudden, here comes Weatherly. It looked like, tough to tell from up here, but it looked like it was the A or the B gap, straight up the middle.
I didn't see it. Those are one of the few times I don't pick it up. I was looking at the defense, and they kind of changed it up this time. They went to a zone defense, which I think threw the quarterback off, and that's why Lukanga didn't have the read on that, because both guys ran in front of where he thought, or defenders were in front of where I think he wanted to go with the ball on that.
So that we've now reached the end of the first quarter, so 12 minutes in the books here, and we'll get back to some of our local advertising partners here on the broadcast. I want to thank J&M Sanitation in Kuna, a family locally owned waste and recycling collection company serving Kuna and the Melba communities. Give them a call today at 208-922-3313 to learn how they can take care of all your solid waste needs. Everyone at J&M Sanitation wishes the Cavemen best of luck at state. J&M Sanitation, a proud supporter of high school sports and all student athletics. Also want to thank, Bob's Bicycles in Steve's hometown as well.
Yeah.
Advertisers on both sides here for Kuna and Rocky.
Well, they're big high school supporters. We always say shop those guys. I love it. I love companies that will get out and support the local teams and across the valley here, and we have great football in the valley.
So first play of the second quarter, pass is going to be caught. Kuna throwing on 2nd and long. They're going to get about half of this yardage back as they go down the far side to about the 40, but a lot of work left to do on 3rd down.
Yeah, well, it makes it a little bit more palatable at this point. Now you have a 3rd and we'll call it 11. And at this point, you have 2 downs, right? To get it all this time, get half of it, run a play that's fairly conservative. But Rocky's setting up somewhat of a picket fence at that 2nd level, right at that halfway mark. So you either got to go before it, and that's where they want you to throw it, or you got to go behind it. Now they shift out a little bit, setting up 2 deep. Almost looking like a 3 deep here.
3rd and 11. Ball sitting at the 41. Luke can get a throw. Rifles over the middle. Caught by Deathridge inside the 30 to the 29. First down.
Ooh, Deathridge got sandwiched, but that was a bullet by Lukanga. He came out looking at that, and you saw the drop man, the defender on that. He dropped, and Lukanga threw it right before him. Right before the defender, and was able to hang on to the ball.
So it's going to be a first down for the Cavemen at the 29-yard line. Lukanga breaking huddle again, shotgun set here for the Cavemen on first down. We're in the second quarter now.
Yeah, we had movement. Yeah. It was on the tight end. It looks like it was at the tackle, the right tackle. Yeah, and Kuna's riding a little bit of momentum. You know, that's a big win last week. And Rocky thinking they were going to, hoping to have the first round bye, but finishing 2nd in their pod forced them to play this game. You can look at it as a pro, as a positive, and that you're going to get, you get a team that's playing high and you get your reps in. So it's
King a throw cross field pass there to Kelly. He threw that off his back foot back across the field. The pass only went about 2 yards, but Kelly caught it and picked up about 5 yards on that. 1st and 15.
That was a slow developing play. It was tough because his linemen didn't get out there and weren't able to get in front of him quick enough to be able to develop it quickly. But go back to the whole thing with Rocky playing this game. So you look at it as, hey, we get our reps in. It's a live game. It's a live practice. And sometimes getting that momentum, you can also say, hey, maybe we need a week of rest. You know, we played some tough games. But coming down the stretch, they were able to play some really, you know, less competitive games. So I don't know how much rest they really needed.
2nd and 8 now. They're going to go to the ground as Kuna on 2nd down, and they go straight up the middle with Latimer, the fullback. It was listed as a fullback on the roster, but that time lined up as a running back.
Yeah, and Kuna eating up clock here. I mean, this drive is...
It's a long one, but you know what? That's what they need to do, control the clock.
Yeah, limit the opportunities for this offense to be explosive and win. You see Art Williams, the Idaho commit, coming on the field, and he's an athlete. They're recruiting him as an athlete. Plays linebacker. He'll play slot right here. He's playing a slot defender. And on offense, he's the go-to guy at the running back position.
Another big 3rd down coming up. 3rd and 5 from the 24. Lukengay under pressure and throws this one. Caught. Here come the flags. The receiver blown up was Deatheridge. It was a short pass. Deatheridge caught it at the far hash. Was blown up.
Yeah, and I think these are going to be 2 personal fouls. I think there was a roughing the passer.
So take your pick then.
Yeah, and if they're going to go from the spot of the foul, you want the one on the receiver because it was upfield. But Art Williams came on the blitz from that slot position. He was playing that. He had coverage on the slot position. He came in and just blew up Lukeng. Lukeng is a thick kid, so it's not like he got destroyed, but he took us down at the, 2-yard line? We're looking at about the 2-yard line.
Yep.
I'm telling you, this is a grinder drive, and this is almost what you have to do and be opportunistic. You and I talked about the Highland versus Meridian, and Highland stuck in it. That was almost like a pivotal game. It was a loss, but it was a pivotal game for their season, and now they're playing as the #1 seed out of Eastern Idaho.
Single back set. Lukengay going to throw this to the end zone, looking for Kelly. Incomplete. Here comes another flag. This one going to be on Rocky.
Yeah, that was a, the receiver came in there and he had his hands on him. There were hands all over both of them. And those back corner throws are tough, especially because the defender has needs to have an opportunity to play for the ball, but you just can't play through the offensive player. And it looks like that's what they're calling with the pass interference.
So the pass interference will give Kuna a 1st and goal now. We are in the 2nd quarter. 9:26 left to go in this 2nd frame. Kuna now with the 1st and goal at the 6. K-middle break huddle. Crowd here at Rocky starting to make some noise. I formation for the Cavemen. Play action. Lukengay to throw. Now under pressure. Rolls out. Pass deflected. Still caught. And he's going to be dropped at the 8. That pass batted up in the air. Dangerous there.
Yeah, very dangerous. I was worried. I mean, there was fantastic coverage. It's almost as if Rocky knew that it was going to be a play action out of that based on the fact that Kuna hasn't been able to run very effectively against him. Well coached by the defense saying, stick with your man. Don't let anything go deep in the end zone.
So 2nd down and goal now for Kuna as they huddle up on this 2nd down play. 9:18 to go, 2nd quarter. First round of the 5A state playoffs here from Meridian. Shotgun set for Kuna. Lukengay to throw. Lobs one, end zone, back corner. It's going to be incomplete. Looking for Celto, I believe, in that far corner.
Right, and that one's a little more different. I mean, that one was more of a pass interference than the prior one. I mean, he flat out shoved the guy out of bounds, and you can't come back in and catch it, and you wouldn't have caught it anyway. But refs letting him play on some of these plays. It was a little fade route, and he was looking to do it, just kind of a timing fade route in the far corner of the end zone. And the defender, got physical with him, shoved him out of bounds. Yeah. And that's okay. I mean, I like to see good physical football.
3rd and goal now from the 7. Latimer standing to Lukengay's left. And Kuna motions to have trips right. Lukengay to throw. Here comes the pressure. There's a lot of it. He's going to go down. 3 Grizz there on the sack. And that's going to force a 4th down. The first one up for Rocky was Rowan Rupp.
Yeah, Rowan Rupp. And this is tough because what you're seeing is you're seeing really good defensive line. They're not having to send anybody, and they're getting pressure with their front four. And those front four, a lot of it's coming off the corner. And then if he steps up at all, you have a big push by the interior defensive lineman. That pocket is collapsing all the way around. Lukanga, when he's been successful, has been on timing quick throws. Anything where he has to step back beyond 2 seconds, it's all kinds of pressure on him.
So Kuna going to kick a field goal here on 4th down, about 32 yards. Kick is up and good. So there you go, Kuna on the board now.
Kuna on the board, and hey, you got points, right? You marched down. You was a methodical. You got some good, you got some penalties to go your way. And boy, it was a grinder of a drive, and everybody's going to be sore after that one. But they came down, were able to put points on the board. And if you're Kuna, you got to take a little bit of pride in that. You got to say that you were able to do it against one of the top teams in the state, and maybe grow a little bit more confidence. Not only that, you also see what the defense is giving you. See some of those matchups at that point. You had a good opportunity to look at that defense, and maybe you have some matchups you can exploit.
Yeah, we'll take a quick timeout here on IdahoSports.com. Kuna kicking it away when we come back.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
All right, back here on IdahoSports.com. Kuna getting set to kick it away. Our score 15-3 here in the second quarter. 8:24 left to play before halftime.
Yeah, fired up Kuna squad coming off that field goal. Maybe they can roll some of that momentum back into their defense.
Let's kick away, and Rocky is going to bring this one all the way back to the 45.
Well, they kicked it to one of the not up men, but one of the upper men. And it was an easy return. It puts him out at the, what is that, the 42-yard line. Fantastic starting field position for this very potent Rocky offense.
So this Rocky offense taking the field once again. They will start this drive at the 42. 8:18 left to go, second quarter. And Rocky holding on to a 12-point lead. Rocky entering tonight a heavy favorite, number 2 ranked team in the state, just behind Meridian. They go to Williams, straight up the middle. Williams still on his feet, pushing his way towards midfield, is finally wrapped up and brought down at the 47. Williams is a slippery back.
Slippery and stout. He didn't even ever go down, but he has some strong legs. I said it before, he has really quick feet in the hole. He's able to kind of dance around and make some people miss. But you see this big Rocky offensive line with a couple of D1 commits, possibly a third one are going to go play, and they're getting a good push up front. And you can see that as they move that defensive line, well, basically undersized defensive line out of the way.
Ball sitting in midfield now, 2nd and 4. Back to Williams, straight up the middle, breaks a tackle, and now he's free into the secondary across the 40 and thrown down at the 33.
Yeah, talking a lot of the scouts, they like Art. He's a gamer, they say. He just brings all kinds of energy, tough to bring down, and seems to come up with big plays when he needs it. On that one, he went right up the middle, read the defense, saw a huge opening to the far left, had enough speed to get to the outside, was able to make it all the way down to the Kuna 35-yard line.
Ball sitting at the 35. Shotgun set for Rocky. Twins right, single left here on first down from the Kuna 35. Back to Williams, straight up the middle, and he's free once again, trying to turn the corner, just dropped at the 30. It was a pickup of 5. It could have been a lot more, but Hoffler just barely tripped him up.
Yeah, and you saw Tegan Sweeney make the handoff, and then he headed upfield as a lead blocker. He could have blocked the very last man standing in the way between the end zone. Unfortunately, Art Williams was taken down from behind by a shoestring tackle.
So 2nd down now for Rocky, 2nd and 3. And why not? Back to Williams again. Straight up the middle. Again. First down. Again. To the 19 this time.
Yeah, and why would you do anything different? You run that faux counter where he takes the handoff heading one direction, takes a jab step, he's heading right, takes a jab step, comes back left, and at that point you have an off lineman coming back, blocking down the field, and they're just blowing people off the ball.
First and 10 now at the 20, as we're about halfway through the second quarter. 6:30 left to go. One receiver's right, single left for Rocky on first and 10. Play action, swing to the throw, lobs one, end zone, pass is caught, touchdown Grizz. This one, C.J. Jacobson, the Utah commit, comes down with it, and it's 21-3.
Yeah, and they exploited a huge size difference on the outside. Jacobson 6'5" and all of that. Playing against a very undersized defensive back. That was number 22. That was Jason Monroe. We have him listed at 5'11", 155. He might be 5'11", but he was able to get it up over the top. Strong hands, brought it in for the touchdown. And that's typically the play they run for Jacobson. They always tend to run him for fades on the outside and try to let him go up over the top.
Extra point is up and good, so make this 22-3 now for Rocky as we are in the second quarter. And we'll take this opportunity to thank some more of our local advertisers. For over 20 years, Dr. Kevin Roseland and his staff at Kuna Groptic have been dedicated to helping you achieve your wellness and objectives. Caring for the entire family for infants, children, and seniors, Dr. Roseland is committed to bringing you and your family better health and a better way of life. He's one of a small handful of doctors here in Idaho which is trained in AMIT method, strengthening and retraining muscles, and has successfully treated many of the student athletes right here in the Treasure Valley. To find out more, give him a call, 208-922-5057. Get the health you deserve with one of the most trusted doctors in the area.
Yeah, and you saw the Rocky. You didn't see it, but I'm going to tell you what happened. Because we are over audio only, is the Rocky team's very loose, coming up and down, jumping and, clicking their heels, doing all kinds of stuff. That's the offensive lineman.
This kick end over end is now away. Kuna's going to take this one back from the 50. Here comes Celto down the far side. Celto initially hit at the 15 and then dropped. Again, I want to thank Kuna Chiropractic there as our latest sponsor. The full list of sponsors on board with us. These are the local ones: J&M Sanitation, Kuna Chiropractic, Bob's Bicycles, Steve's Hometown. As you are listening to Treasure Valley Game Night, presented by Mountain West Bank. The major advertising partners will hit them as well: Project Filter, Valley-Wide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your local Toyota dealer.
Yeah, so Kuna has a big, long field ahead of him, about, 85 yards to go for a touchdown as they line up this play. Nice handoff up the middle. Boy, Kuna needs some of that to be able to get upfield. And they did it just with the ground game, picking up a good 6 yards on that play.
Yeah, it was a field goal last time out for Kuna. This first play on this drive picks up 7, so it's a 2nd and 3 as we're under 6 minutes to play here in the second quarter.
Yeah, and Kuna, we talked about trying to shorten the game and not give as many opportunities to the Rocky offense, but on their side, they have to be able to establish something, and being able to get some semblance of a run game will loosen up some of those pass plays by bringing those defenders forward.
And a whistle and a timeout taken by Kuna. We'll take it with them here on IdahoSports.com. Back in about 40 seconds after this. Second quarter action here from Rocky out of the timeout. It's a 2nd and 3 here for Kuna. Twins left single right for Lukinge, who's in the shotgun set. And this is going to be a halfback pass. Kuna dialing up back to the playbook, and it almost worked. The pass went through the hands of the receiver. It would have been a big hitter for the Cavemen.
Oh, the junior Luke Snar, the wide receiver, he had a step. There was one man covering both of those. They actually ran 2 receivers in the same place. Probably would have been more beneficial if they would have sent the middle man to split the receivers up a little bit, but it just slipped right through his hands as he was going for it. And he had a step too. He looks like he's a speed guy. Probably could have got into the end zone. It was, in his defense, it was a bit of a wobbler. That being said, did hit your hands and did hit him in stride. Just a missed opportunity.
So it's going to leave a 3rd down and 3. Lukinge to throw again. Here comes the pressure. Lukinge knocked to the turf as he lobs this one down the far side. It's incomplete.
Incomplete and fantastic. I mean, we're talking, couldn't have designed a better coverage. Step for step, ran right in front of him. Didn't allow the defender, the receiver, to get to the ball. The defender ran step for step on that one. That's how you draw it up. And that was just a go route on the outside to one of the fast guys.
So it's going to leave a 4th down for Kuna, which now has punt formation out on the field.
Yeah, and that deep, I don't blame them. This deep in their own territory, you do need to punt it away. Show that you can maybe put up a little bit of a fight.
This punt's a good one. End over end. It's going to force Williams to call fair catch at the 45. Still leaves the Grizz with somewhat of a short field as we get going once again.
Yeah, and Rocky runs with a 2 punt returner formation to give her both sides of the fields. And what you do and what you're looking for that is you want to reduce the amount of ground the guy has to cover. So if it's on the far sideline, you don't want him full speed run into the sideline in order to avoid all kinds of fumbles or opportunities for fumbles. So they go with the 2 returners.
So Rocky will start this drive now at their own 45.
And Rocky lined up in that typical position where they spread him out, but they always have 2 men basically in the backfield. One's that H-back type position. A lot of motion out of him. He's a big, strong kid. He can make all kinds of blocks.
Screen pass is going to be complete. It's going to be a big hitter for the Grizz. It might go all the way. It will. This short screen pass is going to go almost to the end zone. That was going to be about a 56-yard touchdown. Instead, they only went about 55 yards.
Yeah, Lucchini just caught that. And he is the game breaker on this team. He is the speed guy, and you can see the kind of burst he has coming out of that. And he was running away from guys, but he gets head north-south, and he can make a difference. What I loved about that play call was, and we talked about the up-back, the H-back, and that's Luke Hanchett, and he comes out in motion way out to the far sideline. He's the first man out there to block. So you get an H-back or a tight end out there on a cornerback. That's a blocking mismatch. Hand off to the up-back. That's a touchdown. That's an easy run for the up-back. That was Britton McClure, the fullback. Probably getting a very rare touchdown or touch in this offense.
Yeah, it's been the Art Williams show, but McClure punching this one in from about a yard out, and it makes it 28-3. Here in the second quarter for Rocky.
And Rocky, again, taking advantage of a big play, but taking advantage of a little bit of an undersized. Yeah, and they do the same thing again where the holder takes the snap and they just run it in for the 2-point conversion. They must have seen something they like.
Yeah, it's Caleb Stab again with the 2-point conversion, and Rocky now starting to take control of this game with 4:45 left to play. We'll step aside once again here on IdahoSports.com. Rocky getting set to kick this thing away now. with a 30-3 lead. So the kick is a good one. Here from Anderson, as Kuna's still going to return it. This could be a big return. Down the far sideline to the 40. Here comes a flag, though. So this one could be coming back. Austin Latimer on the return.
Yeah, it's too bad. Latimer showed good explosion moving up the field on that, but I did see a block in the back. It looks like it was a holding, yeah. So there's a holding right around the 30-yard line. But the Kuna offense needs to get something going here, especially just to end the quarter. I mean, even if it's just to eat the clock up to end the quarter, get to halftime. This Kuna offense needs to show some of that life again that they had before.
Yeah, so this is going to be a 10-yard penalty here on Kuna on the return. So this will push things back. We'll see where they mark it. As they march this one back, it would have been out past the 40. Instead, Kuna will start this next drive at its own 20.
That negates a huge return. And not only that, it's not only just a big return, but it's a spark plug, right? Like you're moving the ball forward against a fantastic team. He shows some explosiveness, and so it's kind of a buzzkill.
Yeah, 1st and 10 from the 20. As they go to the ground, and this one going to pick up maybe a yard. Latimer, the ball carrier.
Kuna looking to be a little conservative here now down in towards their own end zone. Also looking to probably eat up some clock. Did you know the World Series is tonight?
I did.
It's a big series. It's a fun series. You have the Astros and the Phillies.
The Phillies a bit of a surprise team in the World Series for sure. But it's fun to see a team like that go that far. 2nd down and 9. This is going to be a screen pass to Kelly. Comes down the near sideline. Is popped at the 28. No flags coming out as that was near the sideline. Kelly got popped, but it's going to leave a 3rd and short coming up.
Yeah, that came to this side of the field, and one of the things that happened, for a couple things I noticed. Number one, receiver blocked really well, and he held his block for a long time. Kelly did a good job reading that. He headed to the sideline. Unfortunately, what happened was you only have so much peripheral vision with your helmet on. It looks like he didn't even see the man coming from the side who just laid a wallop on him. But it was enough for a 1st down, got out of bounds, and stopped the clock. Gives Kuna a chance to continue marching the ball down the field with about 4 minutes left.
All sitting on the Kuna 30 with 3:58 left to play in the 2nd quarter. Lukinge rolling far side, throws pass complete to Kelly. Again, nowhere to go. This Rocky defense is just everywhere right now.
Just everywhere, and very well coached, and you just watch them. They're playing man coverage, so the man that catches the ball he's covered by a man, and if he's defending a man, he's expected to make the tackle, and they've been doing it every single time on that. Now, I do like the idea of rolling Lukinge out, moving the pocket, not giving that direct line of sight for the defender to tee up on Lukinge. At the same time, you do eliminate a little bit of the reads. You only work with the one side of the field, but at this point, you got to keep his jersey clean in order to complete passes.
2nd down and 8 for Kuna. Lukinge to throw. It's going to be a screen pass, and just again, there's nowhere to go. This one's stuffed again by Rocky. This time on the tackle, it's Troy Wilkie, the defensive back. And I think they might get a taunting as Wilkie was pretty fired up after making that stop. This Rocky defense playing with some swag tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say they're pretty dang confident at this point. Yeah, this is a confident, very confident Rocky Mountain football team, and you can see it all over the field. And, they have every right to be. They're all over the field. I mean, on that swing pass, you saw the linebacker shadow him as he came across, as he ran out of the backfield. As soon as he caught the ball, he was able to just step up and make a heck of a tackle.
Yeah, so they are going to get a taunting call here on Rocky. As you could call it swag, you could call it taunting, but the officials are going to call it taunting.
You call it swag, you call it taunting, they're going to call it a penalty.
Yeah, right. So the ball is going to get pushed up to the 43 now. 3:05 to go here in the 2nd quarter. As we wait for the officials to pick up all the flags, there were a couple of them out there. Now we're ready to go. Trips right here for Lukinge, who's going to throw on 1st down. Has some time, rifles over the middle. Pass is caught at the 48 with the defender draped over his back. That's Latimer coming up with the catch.
Yeah, that's just a release off of he was a slot man, just released in the inside. Lukinge, I mean, he has stick 'em or whatever glue on his hands because the defender was all over. I can't believe he caught that.
It was his back pocket the whole time there, but he was able to come up with the catch, gain of 4. Clock moving now with 2:33 left to go here in the first half.
Yeah, and again, Rocky playing a lot of man defense. You've got to have your man. You got to stick your man if you're playing that man style of defense.
Screen pass once again, and Kelly had his knee on the ground when he caught that ball. Coming in there for Rocky was, I believe it was Gage Tanner.
Yeah, Gage Tanner.
And he would have blown it up if Kelly hadn't caught it on his knee anyway. Kelly kind of squirted around him because he was able to put his knee on the ground and kind of squirted around Tanner, but had he not put his knee on the ground, that would have been a 2-yard loss anyway.
Yeah, and there is so lack of confidence in pushing the ball downfield. Everything's lateral, and the defenders are just teeing up and coming upfield, squaring up to the receivers.
3rd and 10, Lukinga to throw, in trouble, rolling far side. Pass is going to be incomplete down the far sideline, and that will bring up a 4th down. Looking for Luke Celto there.
Yeah, defensively, so tough. I mean, you're looking at this defense is just manning up, and they're only rushing 3 and 4 players at a time, which leaves a lot of defenders in the defensive backfield to cover all kinds of routes. And the thing that I'm noticing, too, is they're able to let their linebackers drift in a lot of seams.
Yeah.
So there's nothing open, and then their defensive backs are staying stride for stride with the receivers deep on the outside. This is getting tough sledding for this Kuna football team.
You know, it just sort of seems like there's nowhere else to go in the playbook.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like they've tried almost everything.
Yeah, they tried swinging it outside quickly, and they did do that, and they had a little bit of success. Well, Rocky adjusted, and now everybody's coming forward, dropping the linebackers back behind them. Try running the ball, and they're barely getting any yards on the ground. Go deep, maybe get a pass interference, who knows.
Wilkie Williams back deep to receive this punt. Williams is going to receive it off a punt. Breaks a tackle, has some room down the near sideline, turns the corner, still on his feet across the 35 and pushed out at the 42. It's a good return there for Wilkie, who picked that one up inside his own 10, brought it back to about the 42, maybe 43-yard line.
Yeah, he ran a lot on that. It was these fields are about 50 yards wide. He took it from the one side to the other side and then a 15-yard, about a 65-yard run.
Yeah.
Return of almost 20 yards, 15, 20 yards on that.
So this next Rockies drive will start at the 43 with 1:27 left to play in the first half. Grizz looking for some more points before the half, and whistles, and Kuna will take a timeout. It's their final timeout of the first half. We'll take this chance to thank Bob Bicycles on Fairview and Boise, which is family owned since 1979. And their selection of mountain bikes, road bikes, BMX cruisers, and comfort bikes is second to none. Whether online at Bob'sBicycles.com or on the showroom floor, Bob's Bicycles will have the bike accessory clothing to fit your need. They sell clothing there too.
Well, biking clothing. You got to have biking clothing.
Sure. All right. Fair enough. Well, anything you need, it's there at Bob's Bicycles, and they will even do financing 6 months, no interest. Stop in and say hi to Vern. Bob's Bicycles, serving Idaho for more than 40 years. Proud supporters of Idaho high school athletics.
I mean, you got to have the right kind of shorts to have those padded seats, you know.
You got to look good on the road, you know.
Well, you know, you got to look like you're sponsored, I say.
Yeah.
You see the guys right on the side of the road, and you're like, that guy's sponsored by 15 million different people. It must be amazing, you know. Now, mountain bikers are different. You know, they wear kind of a little grungier clothes. But I'm telling you, you got to have the right shorts for mountain biking.
Hey, look good, ride good.
That's the same thing on the football field. Look good, play good.
Exactly. 1:27 out of the timeout, first 10 from the 43. They're going to go to the ground as they give this one off to Albert. And he is out across midfield to the 49. Still short of a first down, so a 3rd and short coming up here for Rocky.
Yeah, giving a bit of a breather to all-purpose, all-player Art Williams out of the backfield. Not a bad idea to close out this half and let him get a breather. At this point, too, with the game very, very comfortably in control, if you'll call it that. At this point, you want to just make sure you make it to the next round with a full deck of healthy players.
And so another stoppage here with 1:11 left to play before halftime. Our score 30-3. Coming up at halftime, we'll have our halftime show, recap our thoughts from the first half. We'll take a look at the 5A bracket as well. And, we got a chance to take our first look at that early last week, as 5A does not do the max prep rankings like some of the other classifications do. So we actually knew what the 5A bracket was going to be before we knew what a lot of the other classifications were going to be.
Well, we kind of knew because Kuna,
Yeah, sure. So out of the timeout, back to the ground here for the Grizz. This one not going anywhere. It's going to gain maybe a yard. Kuna came out of the pile with the ball, but they're going to say he was down.
Yeah, I think momentum was stopped. Forward momentum was stopped at that point. And they blew the play dead. That's actually a win for Kuna because it brings up third down and forced Rocky to use a timeout.
And I believe that is...
one more off. But you know what?
They have 2 up on the scoreboard right now. So.
I've been wrong plenty of times before.
So 46 seconds left to play before the half. We'll take another quick chance, and we'll thank Steve's Hometown, which is a car dealership, proud to support Idaho High School athletics here in the state playoffs. Steve's Hometown Toyota in Ontario, Hometown Motors in Weiser, and Steve's Hometown Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC in Fruitland are just a short drive to savings from anywhere here in the Treasure Valley. The Steve's Hometown dealerships, where customer satisfaction is the #1 goal. Steve is wishing the hometown teams the best of luck here at state.
They have some good teams from over at his side of the valley. Weiser's good, Fruitland good. That side, some of the smaller schools, but really probably going to make a lot of noise this year in the playoffs.
Out of the timeout, it's a 3rd and 1 for Rocky. Sweeney to throw, has time, pass short, caught by Williams. He's all the way back at the 50. They'll lose yards on 3rd down. And with no timeouts left for Kuna, Rocky will take a timeout with 34 seconds. Despite 4th down coming up, that will probably tell you that they're going to go for it.
Yeah, probably going to go for it. You have nothing to lose here. But big stick, right? Big stop. They threw that ball to the back out of the outfield. The back out of the backfield. There we go. Watching baseball. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Back out of the backfield. They threw it to the far sideline. And Kuna came up very aggressively. It's almost like they weren't going to give up 1st down yardage. It's almost if they would have called a deep play on that, a deep right. They probably could have beat them deep on that.
Yeah. Winner of this game will get Post Falls. They will have to travel up north for that one, as Post Falls won the North Idaho Conference. And because they won the conference, they get a bye into the state quarterfinals.
And at some point, you got to think that 5A has to revisit the idea of doing a power RPI max preps ranking, because you get a team like Post Falls who, is a good football team, probably a little unproven. I've done one of their games. And then you get the #2 team in the state that has to travel to there. But they, were very, very dominant for the majority of the season, almost all the season, and were within 2 points of tying it up to the #1 team.
So change of heart here for Rocky out of the timeout. They are going to punt it away. And Kuna's going to let this one bounce. It's going to roll inside the 10. A good punt here. Now inside the 5, coming to rest at the 3. With no timeouts, Kuna has 22 seconds to go the length of the field here before the half.
Yeah, this is a kneel down.
I think so, too.
Yeah. Yeah. And, why not, I say. But at this point, just kneel down and go reevaluate what you have at halftime. You came up with a big stop. That was Rocky trying to say, hey, we have a little bit of 2-minute offense, or what are we trying to do? See if they can punch the ball in one more time. But able to come up with a stop. So, somewhat of a momentum blocker. I wouldn't say stopper, but a momentum blocker. And, take your football and go to halftime.
That's exactly what Kuna is going to do. Lining up in the kneel-down formation, Lukinge will take the kneel down, and the clock will trickle its way to halftime. So after one half of football, Rocky Mountain leading 30-3 here over Kuna. They have a defensive touchdown. The defense has played well. The offense has looked good. And Rocky appearing to be in control here as we head to halftime here on IdahoSports.com. Back after this.
Ads like this keep popping up, but I see through the hype. Because those vape clouds people claim are just water vapor contain as many as 31 different chemicals, like formaldehyde, the stuff they preserve dead bodies with. And while the flavors sound all harmless, we still have no idea what these ingredients could be doing to our bodies. But I already see vaping for exactly what it is. Get the real facts at BehindTheHaze.com.
We're Valley-wide Country Store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Look at that. The unmistakable swagger of someone fully covered with health insurance through Your Health Idaho for as low as $0 a month. If you're as speechless as I am right now, say nothing. Health yeah! Enroll by December 15th and you could qualify for quality health insurance starting at $0 a month.
We're working together to build a more sustainable future. Learn more at unbottled.com.
I'm Jen Miguel-Seiler, and I'm from Moscow. I think it's really important to get vaccinated because it's not just about me and my health, it's about the people around me. We have a lot of friends who have disabilities or have different health conditions. I want to make sure I don't make anyone sick. So we chose to get vaccinated to keep each other healthy.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy. It takes courage and determination to do hard things. Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Halftime here at Rocky Mountain High School in Meridian, Idaho. It's the first round, opening round of the 5A state playoffs, live and free here on IdahoSports.com. You are listening to Treasure Valley Game Night presented by Mountain West Bank. It's brought to you by our major advertising partners tonight: Project Filter, Your Health Idaho, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare. Also brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, as well as Y Cooperative. Score update, what are we looking at? World Series?
Well, that too,
okay.
But Nampa Mountain View, and that's a big one because Nampa actually beat Mountain View to put them in the position that they are today, playing at Nampa High School.
Yeah. So just running down the scoreboard from around the 5As, 28-0. Wow, Mountain View over Nampa. That one also being broadcast live on IdahoSports.com. We have all kinds of playoff games this weekend. Rigby leading Waihe 28-7. And, of course, you have this one that you are listening to right now. Rocky leading Kuna by a score of 30-3. Down in the 4A ranks, Bishop Kelly up big, 56-0 over Canyon Ridge. Blackfoot leading Hillcrest 28-3. That one in the second quarter. And it's Shelley leading Emmett 24-0. That one might be a bit of a surprise for some. Still looking for a score for Valley View and Minico, and Pocatello is leading Lakeland 17-14. Sandpoint and Skyview tied at 7. And a close one over there in the Magic Valley. Burley, a 1-point lead over Twin Falls, 14-13.
Yeah, 14-13. And you talked a little bit about the Shelley team. That is actually my hometown, like original hometown to Shelley.
Oh, there
if I would have gone to high school there, I would have been arrested. But I think that they are going to surprise people. They got better as the season went on. They went up to Idaho Falls and lost by 1 to Skyline. And that was for the region championship at that point, district championship. I think they're going to make some noise. They had to come over to our side of the state and play Emmett. Emmett's a good football team.
Yeah.
They are a good football team in the 4A ranks. And for Shelley to come out and put 24 spot on them at halftime.
I'm not necessarily surprised that Shelley is winning that game, but I'm surprised that it's 24-0.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and then Bishop Kelly, I mean, they're my pick. I think they're going to run the tables. I mean, they're very, very strong, and they would compete at the 5A level right now.
I don't think that's necessarily a hot take. You know, Bishop Kelly is unreal this year. They're pretty good. But back to the 5A bracket here is the winner of this game is going to have to travel up north. We mentioned this a little bit earlier in the broadcast. So 4 teams have first-round buys straight into the state quarterfinals in the 5A bracket. This was predetermined. So basically, if you won your conference/pod, if you're down here in the SIC, you got a first-round bye into the quarterfinals. So Post Falls won the North Idaho division. You just got to think of 5A football in Idaho as 3 sections: North Idaho, Boise, East Idaho.
Yeah.
So Post Falls won the North. Eagle and Meridian won their respective pods here in the Boise area. So they are both through to the quarterfinals, and we'll be hosting games next week. And then over the eastern side of the state, you have Highland, who won the Eastern Idaho Conference, whatever region, whatever you want to call it.
District, who knows.
Yeah, and they are through to the quarterfinals. So the winner of this game is going to have to travel up north to play Post Falls. Eagle gets the Rigby-Owyhee winner, which likely is looking like that'll probably be Rigby. And then Meridian will get the Lewiston and Middleton winner, which is a very interesting game up north here tonight. And Highland is going to get the winner of Nampa and Mountain View.
Yeah, and talk a little bit about Mountain View. You and I've done a game. I think we've done a couple Mountain View games together. That was a team that was destined to get better. It seems like because they lost to Nampa, they lost to Eagle, they lost to Rocky, so they had a bunch of losses on their schedule. And the only surprising one, I think, at this point was probably Nampa. I knew that Eagle would play him close, but I think Mountain View is more of a playoff type team. I think they can put it together. I think they have the skill set and I think they have the players to do it. And I think it took almost, I said a lot of things on this, but what happened was it took a lot of the season for them to get together under their new coach, under the new head coach. And I feel like at this point, they're really going to make a run. And so if you have to play them up through, which is on the Meridian side of the bracket, you'll probably get them. Meridian's tough. We can talk about Meridian in just a minute, but if you're probably going to get them, because I see Mountain View, making a push through the playoffs because they have so many pieces and dynamic pieces, and they reload. They don't rebuild. They reload. So I'm not surprised at 24-0. Nampa, I think, played a great regular season.
Yeah.
I think they have a lot of good pieces in
I think
place.
they surprised a lot of people coming up from the 4A ranks this year. Not a lot of people had them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. You're spot on with that. Yeah, and then the other piece too is, if you're Eagle, you got to say, dang it, we got Rigby.
Yeah.
You got to play Rigby. That's a tough draw to get because Rigby came out hot. They were ranked number 2 a lot of the season. It did end up losing to Highland, and that ended up being their only other loss in state. They lost to a team out of state, to American Fork, which is the number 4 power ranked team in 6A down in the state of Utah. So it's a good loss. That being said, they're going to be a tough team to deal with in the playoffs also.
Yeah, I think really when you look at it next week is where things really start to get exciting here in the 5A bracket, because you look at the bracket, and Post Falls is going to host. Eagle is going to host. Rigby could beat Eagle. And Rocky, if they hold on tonight, could beat Post Falls.
If they hold on. When they hold on tonight. I mean, the way that it's going right now. One that's interesting to me is the Lewiston-Middleton matchup, because I think Middleton brings something that maybe Lewiston probably hasn't seen, which is some of that big physical football that you tend to see down here on our side of the state, down in the southwestern corner of the state. And to be honest with you, those North Idaho schools, with the exception of Post Falls, I don't know a ton about them. I really don't. And I don't know what they look like. We don't have comparative games. They haven't played anybody that I can say, oh, I've seen this team play that team. You know, they tend to play a lot of teams from Washington because they're on that very far west side of it.
It's almost like it's a different state.
It is.
You know, because they play a lot of out-of-state teams. They play a lot of teams from Washington, some teams from Oregon, and some teams from Montana from time to time.
Yep.
They don't really come down and play these SIC schools a whole heck of a lot until state playoff time.
Still played state playoffs, and I think that's actually an advantage to them because then they don't get scouted. There's no comparative, and sometimes they come out and stun you. And, you know, you look at some of the Coeur d'Alene's teams that kind of waltz into the state championships through interesting bracket matchups. Yeah. But that being said, you know, I don't know if this is the year for North Idaho. I don't know if they have the depth as far as teams go. I mean, they have 4 teams, right? So when we say depth, they have 2 teams in the playoffs. But that should be an interesting matchup. I think that will be pretty telling, knowing how Middleton plays them. We'll see how Middleton plays them. We'll see what the score ends up looking like on that.
Yeah, and like I said, that's the game that I'm watching here in the 5A bracket up north is that Lewiston-Middleton game. I think that's the most intriguing one of the bracket so far. So back here at Rocky, I mean, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the offense or the defense because they're dominating both sides of the ball?
Yeah, and this is just my gut feeling. It feels like they're taking their foot off the gas a little bit.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about this too, you and I, when we did the Eagle Meridian game last week, which was, you know, how much do you want to expose to the next? And so it wasn't about as much as what you could get done, it's what you didn't show for the playoffs. And I think Rocky's kind of showing that, doing that right now. Look, really proud of Kuna. They're putting the team together. They had some really down years. And to come out and compete and fight, and they did some good things, both offensively and defensively. We saw them come up and hit on defense. They make some plays. They had a 3rd down stop where they forced a punt. I think you got to be proud of that. The tier system in 5A high school football in the state of Idaho is real, right?
Yeah.
We talk about that top tier, and then we talk about everybody else. And so Kuna really working to try and grow themselves in that middle tier, and then at some point, you know, rise up to the upper tier.
Yeah, and you talk about the tiers, and Rocky and Meridian are clear Tier 1 teams. And Meridian obviously not playing tonight with a first-round bye going into the quarterfinals, but that's going to be a tough matchup for whoever wins that Lewiston-Middleton game as well.
Yeah, and so what we're looking at here, and you and I, we were texting about it a little bit, but you said, hey, what are the odds that Highland beats Meridian in the semifinals? And I said, you know what? Like, get there first, right, Highland?
Yeah,
because
sure.
we're not sure what Highland puts out there, because any team that has to play Meridian has to get prepared to get beat up the whole game, and depending on what it looks like when they get to that point. But the bracket's a fun one. I think the way that it's set up, you have some teams coming from opposite sides. Honestly, we could very well see a Rocky Meridian state championship.
I think so, too. I think that's a very high possibility. But here's the reason I posed that question to you. They played earlier in the year. Was at Meridian. Highland was banged up, had some injuries, still hung with them. That night, I was impressed with Highland.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were well coached. They did what they needed to do to stay in that game against a tough Meridian team. I know Highland is one of the premier programs here in the state, and it's tough to beat teams twice.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about it for now, and we can talk about it if we get there.
Yeah, we can talk about it when we get there. I'm going to leave you with this. Talking to the Meridian coaches in that game, they just shook their heads because balls bounced Highland's way that night. They just bounced Highlands that way that night. So if they can clean things up at the Meridian side, they feel they had a good chance. They would have beat them by more significant. That being said, Highland hung in there, and they did it. I mean, man for man, they did a good job. You know, and they don't quite match up like you would think man to man, but scheme-wise and just being opportunistic, they did a good job.
Yeah. So a couple minutes left up on the clock. Both teams have retaken the field, getting set for the second half here on IdahoSports.com. You are listening to Treasure Valley Game Night of the 2022 Idaho High School State Playoffs here on IdahoSports.com. We'll be back after this.
another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
We're Valley-wide cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Treasure Valley Game Nights here on IdahoSports.com, brought to you by our major advertising partners, Project Filter, Your Health Idaho, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, the Idaho Transportation Department, and also brought to you in part by Valley-wide Cooperative and your local Toyota dealer. I also want to thank our power boosters on board with us tonight. We have Beehive Credit Union, College of Western Idaho, Meridian Plumbing, Evade Pest Management, Clarify Eye Care Center, as well as D&B Supply and Kuna, J&M Sanitation, Pioneer Sports and Pain Clinic, and Avalon Family Dental.
Yeah, so Meridian gets the ball to kick off the half, and you know they go down and march on this, and it's got to kind of feel like a backbreaker at that point.
Yeah, Rocky getting the ball here to start things in the third quarter. Kuna will need a stop as they're going to try a little pooch kick into no man's land to the 40-yard line. Rocky able to hop on top of it.
No, they weren't.
Wow, I don't know how Kuna came away with that. There is a flag sitting down at the 39, so we'll check that. It initially looked like Rocky had recovered it, and then Kuna came away with the ball. The signal right now is Kuna football. But we'll check the flag.
Check the flag. The official initially motioned the wrong direction, and the guy's running away with the ball. The rest of the refs came up and huddled around him and said, hey, you know, I think we're going the wrong direction.
And they picked the flag up, so this is going to be a Kuna ball. Wow.
Hey, hats off to the Kuna team, you know, making the call to be aggressive on the kickoff. You have nothing to lose. Potentially last game of the season. You got to pull everything out.
Yeah, a team that a lot of people entering last week did not think was going to be in this spot.
Yeah.
Kuna had to beat Middleton, won the game on a trick play, stole what was likely Bora's bid to get into the state playoffs, and down big here in the second half, but that's a good start here in the third quarter. Little pooch kick, it landed about the 40. Kuna went down and got it. Now they have the ball. Lukinge going to throw. Here comes the pressure. He's thrown to the turf. That's Gage Tanner for Rocky, and it's going to be a big loss on first down on the sack.
Yeah, and he wasn't even fooled. Generally speaking, what you hope for is that as a linebacker, he bails out on coverage, but they've been able to stick such tight man coverage just one-on-one on the outside. They've given free range to their linebackers to just come up and make plays. And as soon as he saw Lukenga move out to his left, roll out to his left, shot like an arrow up in there for a sack. And that's all based off of really good play in the defensive backfield.
About 30 seconds into this third quarter. Empty set, 4 receivers to the left. Lukinge now going to motion one of them to the right. Screen pass, it's caught by Kelly. Slips out of one tackle and dropped at the 40. After the first down sack, it left them with about a 1st and 20 or a little shy of that. But they get about half of that back on second down, and it leaves a 3rd and 10.
Yeah, 3rd and 10. And I like that because that short play was actually moving forward upfield because as we're seeing laterally, it's just not working anymore. The defense is too fast, and they're making those tackles for losses. But if you're moving the ball forward on those short passes, you're falling forward, you're moving the ball forward, you don't lose yardage, and they can't afford to keep losing yards.
So 3rd down and 10. Likely 4-down territory. They're going to go back to the screen. This one is caught. It's going to be about a 4-yard gain. It's Luke Celto on the reception. It gains about 3 or 4. It's going to leave a 4th down. And this is go-for-it territory here for Kuna.
Yeah, this is a make-or-break drive for them, so you have to go for it on 4th down. You got to call your best play, and you got to get beyond the sticks. You and I have seen it too many times where guys will run routes and they run short of the sticks, make the completion. It's an easy tackle, ball turnover on downs. Make sure you run depth on your routes on this particular play.
Got to have this one. 10 minutes to go, third quarter, 4th and 7 for Kuna at the Rocky 38. Shotgun set for Lukinge. He's going to throw. Has time. Rifles over the middle. Pass is dropped. Incomplete. And the Rocky defense will hold. Deathridge, the intended receiver, was broken up by the Rocky defender.
Yeah, and it wasn't even deep enough as is. He didn't make it to the sticks. I know Lukinge has always been under pressure, but you got to run that route to the sticks. So regardless, turnover on downs, Rocky gets the ball, and if they punch this in, could be lights out. I do want to point out one thing, though. I'm incredibly impressed. You know, Rockies, generally speaking, is a very top-heavy, senior, junior, senior-heavy. They do have a freshman starting on the offensive line right now, or playing on the offensive line.
Yeah, and that's an offensive line that's going to produce 2 Division I commits as well. Rocky on first down, play action, caught first down across midfield, slips out of another tackle. This is going to be a big hitter for Lucchini, and he's out of bounds at the 37. Lucchini, a big chunk play there on first down.
And Lucchini, he runs hard. I mean, everything he does is 100%. He goes full speed. He's able to turn things. You won't get him down with arm tackles. He's an easy 6'2", and he's a solid kid. Kind of their speed guy. Like I said, he's their game breaker.
Lucchini, 6'2", 190, the senior.
Yeah, that's number 74 I was telling you about. Jax, what's his name here? Jax Tanner, the freshman offensive lineman. So he's going to anchor that powerful offense for years to come.
Rocky throwing again. In trouble is Sweeney, and he's going to try to get something out of nothing here. He dives forward for about a yard. Sweeney was under pressure almost immediately that time, and play never really had a chance to get off the ground.
Yeah, never really had a chance. There were only 2 guys deep in the pattern, and that's who he was looking for. 3 men back defending for the Caveman, so a good job on defense, blocking up those deep passes, those deep receivers to prevent the passing play.
Second down and 9, 8:40 left to go, third quarter. Rocky on the move here in Kuna territory at the 36. Sweeney in the shotgun, play action, pass over the middle is going to be incomplete. It was a little high, but the intended receiver couldn't come down with it. That was Carson Adams, the junior.
Yeah, Carson Adams, the junior, was the receiver, but the defender was Jason Monroe, the junior also, and he did a good job. You know, tough to see from here if he had his arm wrapped around there, but he was able to get the arm up to break the pass up, and he did it in front of him, and there was an official right there, so it looks like it was a clean play. But he ran step for step with him and got his arm in front of the receiver to knock it away.
3rd and 9 from the 36. Williams to Sweeney's left. Twins left, single right. They'll throw. Sweeney has time, steps up in the pocket, has a man wide open for the first down across the 20 and brought down at the 16.
And that was
Thompson, the receiver.
Yeah, Jeff Thompson. All he did is he just ran upfield, turned around, and settled into a huge hole in that zone defense. And he just waited and waited. Most of the motion was coming on the near side of the field. He was on the far side, just settled in, slowly worked his way back to the quarterback. Sweeney just put it on a rope.
Yeah, just settled right into that hole of the defense and picking up the 3rd and long. Rocky now 1st and 10 at the 17 with under 8 minutes to play in the 3rd. They go to the ground with Williams. Williams working the far hash, breaks out of 1 tackle and out of bounds, close to the first down marker.
I don't think I've seen one Caveman, the initial tackler, the initial defender, bring Williams down.
Yeah,
it's usually 2 or 3 guys down the field, and he's usually, at least 4 yards deep into that defensive backfield.
1st and goal from the 5 here for Rocky. Williams to Sweeney's right. They go to the ground. Williams straight forward, just short at the 1.
Just short. Not sure who got a hold of his legs. Looks like he was trying to lean a little too forward into the end zone, maybe fell down. But they're going right up the middle, right behind that big offensive line, right up the heart and soul of that thing.
So it's going to be a 2nd and goal from the 2. 7 minutes to play, 3rd quarter now. Rocky looking to really blow this thing open here. knocking on the door. If they punch it in and get the point after, they'll be up by 30 here midway through the third. Back to the ground, Williams pushing forward. He's close and short again.
Boy, that was big leg strength, though. He was about ready to carry 2 or 3 defenders in with him, and he was about 2 inches off the ground, no lie, as he was moving forward. You hear some of the coaches in here saying, get in, get in. You realize what they have with Williams. Strong back, low center of gravity.
It's going to be a 3rd and goal from about the half-yard line. Rocky now going under center. Single back formation. It is Williams, the deep back. Back to Williams, left side, no problem this time. Touchdown, Rocky.
Yeah, that's a tough ask for that defense. A little undersized on the defensive line, and the offensive line leaned into them, and Tegan Sweeney, being under center, was able to just turn around. Art Williams took one little jaunt, one little leap, and he was in the end zone.
I think that's Williams' 2nd touchdown of the night, and it puts Rocky up 36-3, 6:05 to play third quarter. Anderson on for the point after. Snap, hold, and kick. No problem.
Yeah, and at this point, if you're Kuna, you can say, hey, listen, this may be out of hand. And so what are we looking to do? You got to look at, and we talk a lot about this in blowouts, you got to look for the little wins. How are we moving the ball? I tell you, the onside kick or the pooch kick for the fumble recovery, that was a win. You know, a lot of good things. So look for the good, work on the future. Go out with a bang, play with your hearts out. A lot of these guys, the last time they were going to play a football game.
Yeah. Well, how's this for a little win for Kuna? I believe combined the last 2 years since they moved up to 5A, you can count the wins on one hand.
Yeah.
Now they're here in the state playoffs. They had to go on the road, be a pretty good Middleton team last week. Just talking to some people within the program, just being in the state playoffs this year is a big step for this program.
Yeah, big step. And we talk about how community is so big for a lot of these programs. And Kuna, used to be a small town outside of Boise. And
Yeah.
Quite frankly, it's just a suburb now.
Yeah.
Everything's connected. But, there is a sense of community in the Kuna area. And so having a team in the state playoffs, I know it's good for the community. It's good for these kids. And honestly, it gets more kids coming out. Hey, we played last year. We made it to the state tournament. Had a good time, played, potential state champion in Rocky.
Anderson's kick is going to be caught on a line by Celto as he works down the far sideline up to about the 22 before he's dropped. And so here comes the Kuna offense. Once again, 6 minutes left to play in the third quarter.
Yeah, 6 minutes left to play. And also, if we're looking at I'm looking at this offense, and I'm looking at the roster and some of the kids from Kuna, and they're actually maybe better next year. They're going to lose their quarterback, the starting quarterback, but both their top receivers are coming back. Those are your speed guys. They have some offensive linemen that are coming back defensively, a few juniors and a sophomore that keep playing. So they are getting good critical experience as they keep trying to rebuild this program from some of the heydays, quote-unquote heydays, back in 4A, to being a competitor at the 5A level.
We're going to go to the ground on 1st and 10 as this is Latimer, who's up to the 30, pickup of about 7.
Yeah, and speaking of Latimer, he's a junior. That was a solid positive play on that one. Kept his legs turning. He got upfield.
Clock now under 6 minutes. Here in the third quarter, Rocky in control here, 37-3. Really only one offensive drive for Kuna throughout the night. That's not a bash on Kuna. It just goes to show how good this Rocky defense can be. Movement up front. And we'll see which way it goes.
Yeah, it's going to be a false start on the left tackle, and he popped up as the defensive line shifts. They do that calculated and choreographed shift to, shift to what gap they're going to be covering, and he fell for it and jumped himself. So, I think the score, if I'm being honest, might be higher if Kuna hadn't ground out. And they've been grinding it out and eating up a lot of clock. And I think that, it's a respectable 37-3. It could be much more at this point if Rocky had the ball. They only punted the ball one time in the first half.
It's going to be a 2nd and 8. They go back to the ground. as Latimer picks up an extra couple yards. And, here's the thing with how the game started. Their first drive was a defensive touchdown for Rocky. And Parker Weatherly took a fumble back for a touchdown.
Yeah, and they did it, remember, it was on a trick play, so they were going to do kind of a double pass or an end-around pass, and the receiver came back, and the deep man was covered, so he tried to get away and use his stiff arm, and the man just batted the ball away, scoop 6.
4.5 minutes to play. It's going to be a 3rd and 6 for Kuna. Motion will empty out the backfield. Lukinga to throw, looking for Kelly, who lays out and makes the catch at the 45. Kelly had to leave his feet to haul that one in, and it's a first down for Kuna.
Yeah, that would have been a touchdown. There was actually a holding on that. The defender, you got past him, and the defender reached out and held him up, and it's a good thing he did because he would have waltzed into the end zone on that, but fantastic diving catch. He was able to control the ball to the ground as he wrapped up and got into the fetal position to make sure the refs knew that he was holding on to the ball. Great ball, by the way, by Lukenga. Like I said, that would have been a touchdown if he hadn't been held a little bit earlier in the route. And they did something different on that one. They didn't throw it to the route to the motion man in the flat this time. They actually looked deep.
1st and 10 now from the 45. More flags before we get going. And this will be an encroachment against the Grizz. So move this one up 5, turns a 1st and 10 into a 1st and 5.
Take it if you're Kuna. Like we said, you got to take the scrappy yards as however you can get them.
That's going to put the ball at the 40. Ball sitting between the hash marks. Right at the edge of the circle where the soccer circle where it meets the white X where they kick it off. Ball sitting right on top of that.
You're saying football, right?
Football, that's right. The yellow lines. Looking at a throw. It's going to be caught on the near sideline, slipping out of 1, 2, and 3 tackles and brought down at the 25 is going to be Luke Snard. 6'1" junior comes up with the catch, and it's 1st down for Kuna.
Yeah, Luke Snard, he just settled in. He was kind of a comeback route. It was the timing route. Lukingham almost threw it too late on that, but Snard was able to come back and work his way back to the quarterback. Stepped out a couple of tackles. Went upfield. For me, I was just going to say turn around, take your yards, but he gave some up and made it up.
Be a 1st and 10 at the 25 now for Kuna. Twins right, shotgun set, single left here for Lukinga. They're going to go to Latimer up the middle. Latimer up to the 20 and brought down for a gain of 4.
Rocky was a victim of their own athletic success on that one. Everybody came so hard at the quarterback and came hard at the point of the handoff that they were able to get the handoff, and they outran it just by a minute, just by a split second, and he was able to slip past the defensive line.
2nd down and 6. Clock approaching the 2-minute mark here in the 3rd quarter.
His 3rd quarter's gone quick, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been going. Kuna's grinding this one out. Latimer up the middle, down the hash marks. Another Kuna 1st down to the 11.
Yeah, it looks like they may have found something. That aggressive defensive line, they're doing quick hitters on the inside, and they're trapping one of the inside defensive linemen, which means as he moves upfield, they let him think that he's free, and then they're able to block him with a cross block. Latimer's sliding right behind that to find some good yardage.
So it is a 1st and 10 still as the ball's at the 12, so they can still get a 1st down. Back to Latimer up the middle, and this time nowhere to go.
Yeah, and that time they followed the man. So you follow a pulling guard or a pulling tackle, they'll take you right to where the ball's going to go.
So no gain on that one, and it's a 2nd and 10 with 95 seconds to play here in the 3rd frame.
With 95 seconds, that's kind of like when somebody asks how old your kid is, and you're like, well, he's 47 months old.
That's a good way to put it.
It is. How old your son? I don't know. 10, 12. He's 120 months old.
2nd and 10. Lukiga is going to throw. Rolling out, far side, throws on the run. Pass is caught near the 1st down. And that's Kelly who came down with it.
Yeah, we had a great view from up here, and so Lukenga was rolling out to the right, and we talked about it before. You eliminate half of the field when you roll out, but he did a phenomenal job, and Kelly did a great job as he was working towards it. He ran his route, saw that the play was extended, worked his way back and towards the sideline, came up with a big grab. He has great hands. I've seen him catch a couple balls now that seem to be out of his grasp or out of the reach, and he just comes up with it. Not only that, he turned around and fought upfield.
Timeout on the field taken by Kuna. We'll take this time to thank J&M Sanitation in Kuna, a family-owned and local waste and recycling collection company serving the Kuna and Melville communities. Give them a call, 208-922-3313, to learn how they can take care of all your solid waste needs. Everyone at J&M Sanitation wishes the Kuna Cavemen the best of luck at state. J&M Sanitation, a proud supporter of high school athletics. Also want to thank Kuna Chiropractic for over 20 years. Dr. Kevin Roslin and his staff at Kuna Chiropractic have been dedicated to helping you achieve your wellness objectives. Caring for the entire family, infants to children to seniors, Dr. Roslin is committed to bringing you and your family better health and a better way of life. The number 208-922-5057. Get the relief and health you deserve with one of the most dedicated chiropractors in the Treasure Valley, Kuna Chiropractic. To the ground here on third down. It will be a first down, but not a touchdown as they snapped the ball at the 4. They needed 2. They got 3.
Yeah, they went with a bigger back that time to try and pound it up on the inside. And probably the right call. Now they have 4 downs. I mean, it is absolutely 4-down territory.
Oh, without question, yeah.
To get the ball in the end zone. And again, we talked about some of these little wins. I'd say scoring in the second half versus this tough Rocky defense, and we're looking at them too. And there's still a lot of starters out there. In fact, they're all starters out there. You get a score here, you got to be happy with yourselves. And there it is.
Luke Kinge just pushing forward on the QB sneak, has the first Kuna touchdown of the night, and it makes it 37-9.
And you got to be thrilled if you're the coach, and you got to say, guys, we put together a drive. We did it organically, right? I mean, there were only a couple penalties against Rocky, but they were able to punch it down, and they did it. They did with some good plays. They did with some great completions and some solid running. So hats off to the Kuna offense, taking away a little victory on that drive.
Jason Monroe out to kick the extra points. Some whistles before we get there, though. And now we're ready to go. With 9 seconds left to go in the third quarter, Monroe awaiting the extra points. And the kick is up and good.
Just barely. Is it just me, Lucas, or is that field goal post crooked?
It does look a little crooked. Yeah, it does.
I think that's why he snuck it in. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it does look a little crooked.
Yeah, it must have got crazy here after a big victory. Kids are climbing all over it, bent the thing, you know?
At least they didn't tear it down and throw it in a river like they did in Knoxville, you know?
About to get crazy here in Meridian, Idaho, folks.
Right.
Boise River's just down the hill.
Well, 9 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Our score 37-10. Rocky in control here. And we'll take this time again to thank Bob's Bicycles on Fairview in Boise, a family-owned since 1979. Their selection of mountain bikes, road bikes, BMM cruisers, and comfort bikes, second to none. Whether you can find them online at Bob'sBicycles.com, or you can find those bikes on the showroom floor as well. Bob's Bicycles will have the bike, accessory, and clothing to fit your needs. And they even have in-store financing, 6 months, no interest. Stop by and say hi to Vern at Bob's Bicycles, serving Idaho for more than 40 years and a proud supporter of Idaho student athletes.
This quarter, 9 seconds left in the quarter, and Meridian, I'd say, Meridian won the quarter. You know, I mean, they tied it. It was 7-7. And, you know, both teams scored a touchdown. But in terms of, you know, owning the clock and being able to do what they want to do, I had it off to Kuna did a good job with this. I think I said Meridian. I meant to say Kuna. Apologies.
Luke Snar kicks this one away. It's going to be brought back at the 10. Rocky almost found a seam, but instead they found a wall at the 30. They are able to push it forward to the 34. The kick returner that time for Rocky, it initially looked like they might have had a seam, but none to be found.
Yeah, Kuna looks like they have a little jump in their step now, right? A little bounce in their step. They're getting excited, coming back on defense. Offense just did something good for you.
Yeah.
One play. You know, they have one play left in this quarter, and I'll tell you what, if they can stuff them on this one play, carry some momentum into the fourth quarter. I'm not saying it changes the outcome of the game, but I am saying it changes their perspective on the game and how they'll probably continue through.
This drive starting at the 34. 1st and 10 for Sweeney and company here for the Rocky offense. We go to the ground with Williams. Williams working between the hash marks, and he's into the secondary across midfield, brought down at the 40.
And Williams just took it up inside, and it was absolutely phenomenal. He does a good job of just accelerating. He runs hard. He just runs hard through the tackles, knows how to break them. Huge pickup for Art Williams. He's well over 100 yards this game.
Oh, easily. As we've reached the end of the third quarter here from Rocky. And we'll head to the final 12 minutes of the first round of the 5A state playoffs. Winner of this one heading up north next week to Post Falls.
Yeah, a good football team here in Rocky, and we've seen them, and I'd say we probably expected to see this. I don't know if anything's going to change my opinion at this point if they, if they're still my pick on the top half of the of the bracket versus the bottom half with my pick being Meridian to meet Meridian possibly in the state championship game. I think that what you're seeing is a really well-rounded football team. I think that they're probably foot's not completely on the pedal at this point. Got to keep some in reserve, some tricks in the bag for the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, and we'll take a look at the rest of the brackets. As again, the winner of Rigby and Owyhee, which looks like it'll be a Rigby, will get Eagle. And that will be here in the Treasure Valley. Meridian gets the Lewis and Middleton winner, and Highland will get the Napa Mountain View winner.
Yeah, and that's a tough draw for Eagle.
Sweeney to throw on first down, and this is going to be a Rocky touchdown. 2 chunk plays for the Grizz. One on the last play of the third quarter, one at the first play of the fourth quarter, and they're back in the end zone, a 40-yard touchdown.
40-yard touchdown, and that was just a post route. Man-to-man coverage on the outside. He broke in front of the defender. Sweeney, very experienced, multi-year starter quarterback, put it right where it needed to be. He broke a tackle, went one angle, went the other angle, and outran everybody to the end zone. Really well played, and the Rocky offense took advantage of just man-to-man coverage.
Well, that now makes it 43-10. On for the extra points, as it's up and good.
Up and
it's
good.
44-10.
Yeah, now we talked about a little win. That was not a little win for Kuna on that one. That one was a little more difficult, but they get a chance to get the ball again and maybe grind it out and build some momentum. But, looking at Rocky and their playmakers across the board to me is what really stands out. You look at some of the receivers, they can move the ball downfield quickly. They have some speed. A lot of guys are just possession guys. And Rocky has some game breakers, some guys who can get the ball in the open field, break a couple tackles, and head into the end zone. They can put points up in a hurry, and I think that that's what's so dangerous with this team is they do it with multiple people.
11:52 left to play in this one. It's Rocky getting set to kick it back away to Kuna here in the fourth quarter.
I think Tegan Sweeney is another guy who's going to get a couple looks if he wants to play at the next level. He's a big kid. He's 6'2", 6'3", good lively arm, and with some college coaching, maybe some college nutrition, you put some meat on his bones, maybe he has a chance to play, get some significant playing time.
And this is going to be a bit of a squib kick, and it's going to be a race to the football at the 35. We'll see who won this one, as it looks like Kuna won it.
Yeah, Kuna won this one, and Rocky saying, well, hey, two can play this game, and did the squib kick. It's interesting. I've seen this kicker, the Rocky kicker, kick the ball multiple times into the end zone, but it looks like cold weather's affecting the flight of the ball these days. It doesn't seem like kicks are traveling as far.
Yeah, Anderson, the kicker there for Rocky. Kuna tried that to start, almost that exact same thing. Kuna popped it up in the air a little more, and Rocky just kind of kicked it on the ground and tried to race out to it.
Yeah, now Kuna's going back to work. See what kind of creative play calling they have for this drive.
They go to the ground on first down. Latimer straight up the middle to the 40, picks up 5.
And they did the sprint draw where he takes a snap, holds it for a second, and runs out to the side, comes back on almost like a draw counter.
So it's going to be a 2nd down and 6 here in the early stages of the 4th. Back to the ground on 2nd down, and they pick up about 3 is the literal definition of 3 yards in a cloud of dust there.
You know, and Kuna does it. I mean, they have 4 downs every 10 yards to pick up the 1st down at this point. They're just trying to grind that clock, and they've done a great job of that so far. We were just commenting how quickly this game's going. You know, let's compare a little bit some of these teams out here, some of the top 2 teams. And you see Meridian, and then you have Rocky, and those are your number 1s, number 2s. Eagles right in the mix, but we just saw Meridian just absolutely take it to Eagle last week. I think Rigby's out there, and you talk about Highland, but I do think Mountain View's in there. How do you, offensively, how do you compare these 2 teams? Well, they're 2 different teams.
Lukinge throwing a bomb down the far side. It's incomplete. They were looking for Snar in coverage for Rocky is Noah Davenport breaking that one up.
He just didn't lead him enough, did he? The defender, he was past the defender on the fly route on the outside, running down the sidelines. He had to slow down, and the defender was able to catch up and knock the ball away.
That's going to be a 4th and 3 now with 10:27 to go in the 4th.
Well, they elect to punt. Or do they?
Yeah, we'll see what they got. Shakina's gotten to every bag of trick you can imagine here tonight, and it's going to be a low punt. It's going to send the Wilkie back, and he's just going to let this one go inside the 10.
Well, all right, if you're going to punt, make it a good one, and that's absolutely what he did. I thought he was going to take a chance on that, you know, with a 4th down, not much to lose, but at this point conceding and trying to reset and play a true football game at this point.
So here in the 4th quarter, 10:15 left to play. 44-10.
So the offense comes out, and you see still some starters in the game. Actually, they're subbing some people out now.
First play, they're going to stick to the ground.
Yeah, in a quarterback, like I said, there's some people out now. So in a quarterback is Gunnar Thompson. He's a junior. Throws me off. He's wearing number 29. Not typically a quarterback number that you see there. Almost feels like Rocky's content just keeping the ball on the ground.
Yeah, with the big lead, who could blame him? Under 10 minutes to play here in the 4th. As they go back to the ground here on 2nd down. Near the 1st down marker, it's a pickup of about 3 for the Grizz.
Yeah, pick up for 3, but, you know, more importantly, keeps the clock running, right? Keeps the clock running, keeps us churning out, you know, small yardage as we move forward. That was a 1st down at that point, so 1st down, it keeps the clock grinding.
Clock now approaching the 9-minute mark. First and 10 here at the 16. And this one not going anywhere. They went back to the ground, losing yards. The ball carrier hit almost immediately in Reeves.
Yeah, and Kuna committing to stopping the run brought everybody in the box. No deep safety. It was man coverage across the board. And they just had too many guys to block. You only have 5 offensive linemen with 6 people coming. Somebody's going to come free, and that's exactly what happened.
2nd down and 13 now as clock approaching the 8.5-minute mark here in the 4th. Albert, the back, now in for Rocky. He's going to get the ball here on 3rd down, and he's going to be tackled for a short gain again. This one picking up just 2.
Yeah, and Kuna, again, Rocky letting people get some reps at this point. Kuna taking advantage of that, still having their starters on the field and making some tackles. But again, you gotta look at this Rocky team, and if I'm coach, I'm doing the exact same thing. Let's make sure nobody gets hurt. Let's take a breather. Let's not show too much. We can just run the clock. Let's get this game over with. We got to move on to the next round where it could be a big matchup.
Yeah, again, winner of this one gets Post Falls. That's going to be Rocky at this point with 7.5 to play. Back to throw. New quarterback for Rocky here is going to pick up a first down with his legs. He's in trouble and then just decided to take off with it. That's Gunnar Thompson, 6'4", 181 junior.
Yeah, it took off with it, and he's slippery. He was able to move inside the pocket. Multiple people got a hand on him as he was moving, as he was in the backfield. He stepped up and kept his eyes downfield. He's kept wanting to throw and then saw open field in front of him. Took it to the first down, got tackled. I thought he was going to get hit before then, but he just slid to his right, slid in, kind of fell into a first down.
Back to the ground here. They're going to stick it with Alberts. Senior picks up about 1 yard.
Yeah, and you see the commitment to the run game at this point, and you can see the commitment to Kuna stopping the run here.
I mean, why not stack it up? So clock is moving here in the fourth quarter, 6.5 to play.
Yeah, and that's still starting offensive line out there for Rocky that's giving up some of these tackles for losses. But, you know, you look at it, and they have 5 down linemen to stop the run.
Second down and 9. New quarterback Thompson will throw. Thompson over the middle, pass is complete. And McClure breaks a tackle, picks up a first down, still on his feet all the way out to the 48.
Yeah, and I was just waiting for that to happen when you have so many men in the box. They had 7 men because there were 4 men in the route, but when you have 7 men in the box, all you have to do is make sure you throw it to the open man. If you can break a tackle, that's a big gain. I was just waiting for that to happen.
6:16 to go now. Clock temporarily stopping to reset the change, just as it does in college. Gets going now with 6:13 left to go.
You see the defense now takes a step back, only 4 down linemen in a traditional defensive set.
Back to the ground, Rocky on first down, no gain. As that was back to Reese. So now you're starting to get to see a little bit of the young depth that this Rocky program has. As Reese, a sophomore, been getting rotated into the carries. Thompson, the quarterback, is a junior. He stands in shotgun set at the 47. They go back to Reese. Left side, Reese breaks a tackle across the 40. Slung to the turf at the 39. It's good for a first down.
Yeah, he's not a tall kid, but he's definitely shifty. He showed good explosion in the hole. He took it. He kept his pad level low. He looked like he was in accelerate mode the whole time as he went up through that hole.
Clock now approaching the 5-minute mark here in the fourth quarter. Thompson directing traffic here on this first down play. Thompson in the shotgun. The give left side, and it's not going anywhere as that was Reese dropped in the backfield by Hoffler.
Yeah, Caden Hoffler came up. He's the outside linebacker, and he just commits. They're just committing to stopping the run, and they're doing the same thing that Rocky did, which is letting their defensive backs play man coverage and allowing those linebackers to just flow freely and come up with some run support.
4:30 left to go. Second down and 16. As the back now in the game is Albert once again. It's a pistol set for Rocky, and now they switch Albert to stand to the right, so shifting formations, it's a shotgun set now. And Thompson to throw. Over the middle, dangerous pass, and somehow it was caught. I don't know how that happened.
That was a catch. Well, it was the second best catch of the day, but wow, he hung on to it.
Jeff Thompson, the receiver.
Yeah, there were 2 guys. The linebacker was flown to the far side of the field, reading the quarterback's eyes. Got a hand out there, didn't make contact. And then the defender that was on Thompson, it looked like he was going to knock that away, but wasn't the case.
Leaves a 3rd and 3 with 3:33 to go. Pistol set for Rocky and Thompson, and once again resetting to a shotgun set. Albert's the back. Man in motion is Thompson. Thompson to throw, goes to Thompson. This is going to be a first down, a lot more. Into the end zone, touchdown Rocky. Jeff Thompson, 32 yards.
Yeah, and that was exactly designed to beat that. Everybody in the box, they sent everybody. There was nobody deep. In fact, they didn't even have a man covering him. The goal was to get to the quarterback before then. It just didn't happen. And, if that happens and he breaks one tackle, it's gone for a touchdown. Great play calling by Rocky. And you can see Kuna selling out to stop the run.
Gunnar Thompson to Jeff Thompson. And it makes the lead 40. Extra point up and good. It's now 41. 51-10 our score.
51-10. I think this is probably about what I thought, score-wise, if I were to predict it.
Yeah.
And it just, it was more than anything. It was just how many times was Rocky going to touch the ball. I never really expected Kuna to stop them completely, but Rocky showing it by doing different things. And honestly, take it what the defense gave them. They tried to run the ball, run, and it, they were getting stuffed up there. So they said, fine, you're going to stuff us on the run. We're going to beat you with the pass.
So late in the fourth quarter now, 3:19 left to play, 51-10 the score. As we start to wrap up Treasure Valley Game Night here on IdahoSports.com, presented by Mountain West Bank and your major advertising partners, Project Filter, Valleywide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your local Toyota dealer, as well as brought to you in part by Valleywide Cooperative as well. Snar back deep for Kuna.
Yeah, this very talented Rocky team, and I think there's still a lot of football left in this season for them to play. But looking forward to the future. They've got some questions at quarterback. Where do they turn next? I know Thompson just hit a touchdown pass. Some of the offensive line questions. So Rocky reloads. They don't rebuild.
Yes, they do. Yep. Kick return by Snar brought out to the 29. And with 3:06 to go, the Kuna offense will hit the field, which might be the last time some of these seniors are on the field.
Yeah, it's a bittersweet, right? Sometimes it's tough if you've gone through a tough season. My senior season, we didn't fare that well, and the last game, I know a lot of us were, looking to kind of move on with our lives, and then some of us were going to go play football beyond, and it's a bittersweet type thing. But you want to go out knowing you did your best, you tried your hardest, you played, one of the top teams in the state. I mean, I'd say top teams in the Pacific Northwest-ish, Rocky Mountain-ish area.
Yeah,
whatever Boise,
make an argument.
Whatever Boise falls into. Some people want to say Pacific Northwest. I say Rocky Mountains. But one of the better teams out there, and you got to say you got to go out with a bang. Played against a bunch of college-bound kids. Kind of a fun thing to say.
Yeah, 4 commits so far on this roster. We think about another 3 to 4 might be coming through the pipes as well. So when it's all said and done, you could have close to 10 or 11 players on this current Rocky squad going to play college football next year or in the years beyond.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 minutes left to play. Lukinge throwing on second down. First down picked up 6. This one is going to pick up a first down across the 45 to the 46.
Yeah, and if I'm looking at the potentials for the upcoming years, you got a few years before this kid's a senior, but I look at Jax Tanner. He's the freshman offensive lineman. He stands 6'3", 255. He may or may not grow an inch or two left, but he still has the size to be an interior offensive lineman. He showed a little bit of nastiness tonight, so keep your eyes on him. I think that he's a kid that probably gets served up to play at the next level too.
To the ground on first down for Kuna, and wrapped up after picking up about a yard is the ball carrier. That is Mario DeRosio. Just a gain of a yard. And when we talk about the commits for Rocky, we're not talking, for some of them, you're talking Idaho, Idaho State, maybe a Montana's mixed in there depending on what some of these decisions are made. But you also have a Utah commit. You have a Kansas State commit on this roster. I mean,
an Air Force commit.
Yeah. There's some P5 commits on this football field here tonight for Rocky. To the ground, Gus Austin this time across midfield to the 40. 35 seconds left to go. And we might get one more snap, and that might just about do it.
Yeah, just about do it. You know, you see him down there, and coach is saying, yeah, we're done, man, we're done. They were asking for one more snap, but that'll bring us to the end of this game. And, you know, really well played. Really well done by the Rocky team.
And so both teams heading to the sidelines. Clock hitting triple zeros. We'll take a short break here on IdahoSports.com. Come back with our post-game show. Your final score here tonight from Rocky. The Grizz winning this one big, 51-10. They're on to Post Falls next week. Post-game show after this.
Yeah, I know a little something about myths. Like the myth that speeding isn't dangerous. Oh, and that myth you can tailgate at a safe distance. Or that you could safely weave in and out of traffic. Don't be fooled by myths. You'll get yourself into a hairy situation. Stay focused on the road. Be a legend like me. Have you heard the one about Charlie over at Pay Lake?
Look at that. The unmistakable swagger of someone fully covered with health insurance through Your Health Idaho.
Health yeah!
Enroll by December 15th and you could qualify for quality health insurance starting at $0 a month.
I'm Rick. I live here in Rupert. The more that we can keep the virus under control, the better for everyone, and especially people with disabilities that comes with being aged, because usually have other underlying issues. I actually suffer from diabetes now, so that even increases my odds that if I do get the virus, it could be devastating for me.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy. It takes courage and determination to do hard things. Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
If a pedestrian is hit by a car going 20 miles per hour, there's a 90% chance he will survive. At 30 miles per hour, the likelihood of survival decreases to 60%. And at 40 miles per hour, it goes down to 20%. 10 miles per hour makes all the difference. You're in the driver's seat. You have the power to save lives.
Post-game show here on IdahoSports.com. You were listening to Treasure Valley Game Night, presented by Mountain West Bank. And our major advertising partners tonight, Project Filter, Your Health Idaho, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, the Idaho Transportation Department, as well as brought to you in part by Valleywide Cooperative and your local Toyota dealer. Your final score tonight, Rocky Mountain winning big in this one, 51-10. The Grizz will make the trip up north next week. They'll have Post Falls, have to travel up to the Coeur d'Alene area for that one. We also have a final from Napa and Mountain View. Napa cruised in that one 44-0. So Mountain View will have to travel to eastern Idaho to play Highland next week. Obviously, Kuna onto winter sports now with this one, as well as Nampa, Littleton and Middleton. Lewiston.
Lewiston, yeah.
Still looking for a score on that one. In Rigby, last we saw there was going to be in control, and that one likely holding on there. They will travel to Eagle next week. So, as we look at this 5A bracket, here's what we will have next week in the quarterfinals. You have Rocky going to Post Falls. Eagle will likely host Rigby. You'll have Meridian playing the winner of Lewiston and Middleton. And then you have Mountain View going over to Pocatello. So what do you think about those prospective quarterfinal matchups?
Yeah, we just had said this. I think that's a tough matchup for Highland. I mean, you're getting a hot, kind of angry Mountain View team at this point. I think Mountain View goes and gives them a heck of a game, and that's a toss-up. You know, we're not sure who's going to come out on top. Let me think about it, and I'll give you my picks. But, you know, whatever it is, the winner has to go on and play an incredibly tough Meridian team. So, and then as far as the rest, as far as the rest are concerned, you know, I think that Eagles are going to be playing a tough Rigby team, and I think that's going to be a tough test for them. They do get them over here on this side of the state. Rigby has proven they can travel well and come and play and compete very well. This is a different Rigby team. It's not the same as you had the previous 2 years. They graduated a lot of people, but they're reloading at this point, and they're tough. So we'll see. The big question on that one's going to be is which offense shows up for Eagle. Is it the offense that actually moves the ball, or is it the one that kind of dinks and dunks and doesn't really have an identity at that point? So I think that's going to be a tough matchup. I think Rocky goes and beats the snot out of Post Falls. And I'm being completely honest, this is a really, really good football team, and I just don't think that there are too many holes on this. So I think Post Falls has a lot. They're going to get a home game, but they're going to have their hands full with this really good team.
I agree with you. That's a tough matchup for Post Falls.
Yeah.
It's the way the bracket's set up. I mean, Rocky is the higher ranked team
by far.
It's not close. Rocky is, name a poll, Max Prep, State Media, coaches, whatever, they're number 2. And Meridian's number 1.
Yeah, they just so happen to be in the same pod as Meridian. And then you talk about the last one. Meridian most likely against whoever wins, it doesn't matter. So I take Meridian on that one. Just because they are such a tough, defensively, you and I talked about it last game. They give up less than a touchdown a game on defense. And they're built around that defense, and then they'll explode here and there for some big, quick scores. So I think we have a fun bracket ahead of us. I'm actually excited about the rest of this postseason.
Yeah, I think the quarterfinals are looking pretty good down the road. One thing left to do here tonight is award our IdahoSports.com Player of the Game, presented by the Idaho Transportation Department. Tonight's going with the running back Art Williams, the Idaho commit running back here for Rocky Mountain. Big night for him on the ground, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, big night. Not only that, he kept the chains moving all night long, and he came up with critical runs all throughout the night, and he did it with his elusiveness. He did it with power. He did it with speed. He did it all over, well over 100 yards, and I don't have the stats on him. Unfortunately, we don't have a statistician next to us this game, but and he was very potent. Anytime he got the ball, he was the workout horse and the bell cow.
Yeah. All right, any final thoughts before we sign off here?
We talked about how good this team is, and you know what? I'm going to say congratulations to Rocky. You're going to go on. It could potentially be a Rocky Meridian State Championship, but I think realistically, we got to say hats off to Kuna for really rebounding and trying hard and playing well, giving it their all, and going out and trying to rebuild this program like we talked about, playing in the 5A ranks and seeing if they can crack into that upper tier.
Yeah. All right, well, this is IdahoSports.com GameStreams production of Treasure Valley Game Night, presented by Mountain West Bank, and brought to you by our major advertising partners, Project Filter, Valley-Wide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your local Toyota dealer. Also brought to you in part tonight by Valley-Wide Cooperative. Power boosters on board tonight for us on Rocky Mountain side. We have Beehive Credit Union, College of Western Idaho, Meridian Plumbing, and Evade Pest Management. Over in Kuna, Clarify Eye Care Center, as well as D&B Supply, J&M Sanitation, Pioneer Sports and Pain Center, and Avalon Family Dental. We also want to thank our local advertising partners with us as well. Bob's Bicycles, Steve's Hometown, J&M Sanitation, Kino Chiropractic. They were on board with us as well as the local advertisers. Special thanks to Troy Rice, the whole staff here at Rocky, for their hospitality and helping us get this game broadcast to the viewer. Final score one more time: Rocky 51, Kuna 10. The Grizz on into the quarters. They go up north next week, a date with Post Falls up in northern Idaho. Kuna, their season comes to a close, but a successful one at that, since this was a team you could count on one hand the amount of wins they had the last 2 seasons. This season, made a state playoff appearance, so they are probably happy about that one. But we move on. Chug on to the quarterfinals next week. We'll see you then.
This has been a presentation of IdahoSports.com GameStreams. This broadcast is copyrighted to IdahoSports.com. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or